You
Yeah, sure.
recently shared a cool TikTok video around the office. I took a look at it. A guy,
Oh
he's filming his driverless taxi trip in a Waymo van. I'm not sure if we've talked about AVs a little bit before. I don't know if we've talked
yeah.
about Waymo specifically. But
Yep.
how is this industry progressing? And again, is it cameras? Is it LiDAR? What's the best way to invest when it comes to autonomous vehicles moving forward?
Yeah.
Or
So
is
point
autonomous
one,
vehicles the future?
yeah. So point one, Aaron. I love TikTok. Let's just get that out of the way right now. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like TikTok. They don't like the Chinese ties. They don't like the content on it. Sure, but I find
Mm-hmm.
some really My feed is a bunch of tech stuff and a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
motivational quotes. I'm a sucker for motivational quotes. And I love my TikTok feed. So, anyways, yes, over the
Mm.
weekend, my TikTok feed, I found a video of this man who was filming himself. I believe it was in Phoenix, Arizona, getting into a completely driverless Waymo taxi, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, got in the back, the door opened. He got in the back. There was no
Mm-hmm.
driver in the front, nobody in the passenger seat. He was the only person in the car. The door automatically closed, and he clicked a button on the screen, which was attached to the back of the passenger seat, that said
Mm-hmm.
start ride. Clicked start ride. The car started talking, saying, "Welcome to your car trip. Hope you enjoy it. We're gonna take you
Mm-hmm.
to." He was going to some bar, I believe, or some grill. I don't know, some bar and grill
Mm-hmm.
place. And he just showed himself in this car, turned the camera around with the phone, and showed the wheel turning and
Mm-hmm.
turning, and then getting into traffic and doing a lane change. And he arrived at his bar and grill location. He didn't film the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, but he filmed the first 30 seconds to a minute of it. And it was just fascinating to me to watch it because I too have been in a self-driving car like that. And it is a exhilarating experience. And
Mm-hmm.
when you're actually doing it, you truly understand that, wow, we're right there. Like
Mm-hmm.
we are inches. If we're talking about this is a football field, we're on the 5 yard line. Like we are
Mm-hmm.
almost at the end zone with self-driving cars being able to be used in wide scale applications across the world. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's the really exciting thing. So that was the cool part about
Mm-hmm.
that video. Um, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked in all of that talking about how cool that video was and why we're
No,
that. What
it
was the
was a
question?
cool.
What was the question?
So again, can you talk about what is the future for autonomous vehicles? Is it LiDAR? Is
Okay.
it camera? And if so, you're talking about how we're five inches from the goal line right now for it to be used. But again, I know that we've talked about this in the past. There's a difference between use and deployment. Do we have like a timeline for when all this amazing technology is going to reach us, the consumer?
A few points. One, this technology is already being used in a lot of places. We have
Mm-hmm.
driverless taxis, completely driverless taxis in Phoenix. I believe there are some in Texas. There are some in San Francisco as well. We
Mm-hmm.
have completely autonomous trucks that are actually driving on roads, on highways, shipping freight from point A to point B, doing real
Mm-hmm.
world value additive stuff. That's actually happening. We have Domino's delivering pizza in Houston and I believe in other cities using autonomous cars. So they basically,
Mm-hmm.
you order a pizza, somebody makes it in the shop, and they just load this autonomous car with a bunch of pizzas. And this autonomous car, it's a tiny little thing, drives
Yeah.
around the city and just delivers all those pizzas. When it gets to your door, you come out, you get a notification on your phone, you come outside, you get your pizza, and you go back in. So we are seeing applications of it actually happen. Like you go talk about, is the technology
Mm-hmm.
ready and we're ready to deploy it? It's being
Mm-hmm.
deployed actively today. So that
Mm-hmm.
is happening. Point two, talk about what is the future of it. Well, there's the commercial future and the technology future. So let's talk about the commercial future first. The first wave of commercial applications of autonomous vehicle technology will likely be in trucking
Mm-hmm.
because you have to understand that if you make an error in AV technology, if a self-driving car makes an error, the software makes an error, one of the sensors makes an error, that error could result in the loss of whatever the car is carrying. So
Mm-hmm.
if the car is carrying a person, we're talking either serious injury or potential loss of life.
Mm-hmm.
Huge downside.
Yeah.
If the car is carrying pizzas, we're talking about losing a $5 pepperoni pizza, a $10 pepperoni pizza, maybe a
Mm-hmm.
$20 pepperoni pizza with inflation these days. So not a massive downside risk. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why the first commercial application of autonomous vehicle technology is going to be in the transportation of goods and not people. Where is
Mm-hmm.
that most obvious? It is in autonomous trucking. And you're
Mm-hmm.
seeing companies like Too Simple, like Waymo, like Aurora really get into this autonomous trucking game and they're driving autonomous trucks on real roads, delivering real freight. So we think that is going to be the first commercial application of autonomous vehicle technology. You're going to see autonomous trucks everywhere before you see autonomous cars everywhere. The next
Okay.
wave, once it's proven that we can safely, reliably, and cost efficiently transport goods
Mm-hmm.
using self-driving cars, then we're going to enter the next era where we're going to start using those self-driving cars to transport people. And that's probably going to be in the form of ride-sharing services, like what you're seeing from Waymo in San Francisco, like what you're seeing from Waymo in Phoenix, like what you're seeing from Waymo in certain
Mm-hmm.
Texas cities. We're going to start seeing that happen. That's going to probably be niche at first, and then it's going to grow and
Mm-hmm.
grow and grow and grow and grow until eventually all Uber rides will be autonomous. All Lyft rides will be autonomous. And that will be the
Mm-hmm.
next wave of self-driving commercialization. Thereafter, you're going to start getting self-driving cars in your own garage.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to start seeing the Volvos, the Fords, the Volkswagens, the Lucids, the Teslas of the world have full self-driving cars, and not full
Mm-hmm.
self-driving in the sense that Tesla says it's full self-driving, but it's not really full self-driving. It's a joke. We're talking
Mm-hmm.
full self-driving, hands-off, eyes-off cars where they're going to be parked in your own garage. So
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be the kind of final wave of self-driving commercialization. So through these three waves, transportation of goods, transportation of people, personal ownership,
Mm-hmm.
that probably takes course over, that probably takes place over the course of 10, 15 years. And I believe that the adoption curve of self-driving cars is going to be significantly faster than what probably anybody is expecting these days.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because people are going to be blown away by how reliable, how safe, and
Mm-hmm.
how freaking cool this stuff is. So I think you're going to get a real hockey stick like chart in terms of adoption rates of this stuff.
And what is the technology that's fueling AVs? Is it
Right.
cameras? Is it LiDAR? Is it a combination of both?
Right. So there's the technology side of it. So the technology side of it works like this. In order to get a self-driving car to work, you
Mm-hmm.
need to give that car a human-like ability to see or
Mm-hmm.
sense its surroundings. And we
Mm-hmm.
do that by throwing a bunch of sensors on the car. Now, we have to throw all different types. You don't have to. But the
Mm-hmm.
best approach is to throw a bunch of different types of sensors on the car
Mm-hmm.
because different types of sensors are good at optimizing different kinds of things. Radar is really good at long range detection.
Mm-hmm.
LiDAR is really good at short range detection.
Mm-hmm.
Camera is really good for colors.
Mm-hmm.
So if you use a combination of all three, you're going to give the car a human-like ability to see. There are some out there that believe in vision-only autonomy. If a human can
Mm-hmm.
see with two eyes, so can the car. So they're trying to
Mm-hmm.
use just cameras. That might be a more cost-efficient solution.
I mean, well,
But
a human can also hear the car coming up or the horn behind you. It's not just.
well,
I feel like it's
also
not just like that.
the
So
human eye is a
you're.
fantastic. Yeah, the human eye is a fantastic camera. That's the technical challenge there is
Yeah.
that the
Mm-hmm.
human eye, if it were a camera, would be like a 500, 600 megapixel camera.
Mm-hmm.
The cameras that Tesla's using that other cars are trying to use are like 3, 4 megapixels. So
Mm-hmm.
to rival the eye capabilities of the human eye, you're going to have to throw on hundreds of cameras. That all of a sudden
Mm-hmm.
becomes not cost efficient, very bulky. Where are you going to put those cameras? So vision only autonomy seems to have shortcomings. I don't believe in it. I believe in full stack autonomy. Full stack
Mm-hmm.
autonomy is okay. Let's put a radar on there for long range stuff. Let's put a LiDAR
Sure.
on there for short range stuff. And let's put a
Mm-hmm.
camera on there for color. So that's your sensor suite. The
Mm-hmm.
self-driving car of the future is going to have radar. It's going to have LiDAR. It's going to have cameras. Probably
Mm-hmm.
one radar, probably 2 to 4 LiDAR, probably 2 to 4 cameras, and there's your sensor suite. Now, what those sensors do is they're going to gather information about the world, the surroundings of the car. They're going to turn that information into data. That data is then going to go into a sensor fusion technology platform that's going to take all that data, synthesize it, and transmit it to a software brain, to some algorithm. A lot of times that is going to be in the car itself. And so it's going to be processed in the car itself, that software brain. That data is going to be digested, it's going to be analyzed, and then it's going to be used to create a decision for the car. So sensors sense data, sensor fusion synthesizes it, transmits it, software brain digests it, analyzes it, and produces a decision for the car. Turn right, turn left, lane change, brake, la-di-la-di-do. All this happens in fractions of a second, in milliseconds, and boom, that's your self-driving car. So that's the sort of technology backbone of what's going on in autonomous vehicles. What is the probably most valuable component of this whole stack? Well, there's a few really valuable components. Cameras, not so much, pretty commoditized. Radar, not so much, pretty commoditized. LiDAR, there's a real big differentiator in LiDAR technology. LiDAR is very difficult, it's very expensive, and it's the most important sensor in the stack. So whoever makes the best LiDAR is going to make a lot of money. So you want to invest in the AV revolution, invest in top quality LiDAR makers. That's one of the best ways. Moving down, sensor fusion. Very difficult to do, but a lot of companies are in-housing it. So I'm not sure there are really good like pure play sensor fusion tech companies out there. Moving down, the software, that's really valuable. And that's where the full stack companies come in. That's where Aurora comes in. That's where Waymo comes in. They're developing full stack where the real kind of special, the secret sauce and ninja skill happens in that software. So another place to invest is the companies making really, really good software stacks. So that's the other place. And then you get this to the decision, the production of a decision for the car. You know, obviously there's not much investable there. So when we talk about the AV technology stack, the two best places to invest are in the LiDAR maker and in the software developer. Those two are your best investment options. Between those two, I think you're going to score the biggest returns in the self-driving revolution.
Thanks for watching HGI Clips. For the full episode, head on over to our sister channel at Hypergrowth Investing by clicking the link in the description or listen to the podcast on any of your favorite streaming platforms. We make new episodes every Wednesday, so make sure to check it out and subscribe to never miss any of Luke's Hypergrowth insights.